Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to show you some materials that I grabbed for you to be able to set dress with. When you're set dressing vegetation or plants and those kind of elements, it's actually called greens. So you might be part of the greens department if you're making little miniature pieces and then you're going on and actually dressing them onto the set. Yeah, it's helpful to know just as a quick terminology. You say, oh, I'm making some greens for that. You can say specifically what you're going to be making, whether you're making ferns or you're doing the moss treatment or you're doing lichen up the tree, that kind of thing. But yes, if you ever hear me use the terminology, oh, the greens, go set dress with the greens, you know I'm not just talking about a color. I'm talking about plants and vegetation. Now, some common things used in stop motion are, of course, your fake plastic plants. When you're choosing these, you want to make sure that you get plants and parts that are wired. If they're just completely plastic and you're going to use them, then you have to use them very short. So these are left over from another project I worked on. And these don't have any wire in them, so you can melt them into shape, but you can't actually have any wire hold them into shape. And it's really hard to augment these with some wire. But these are great for just using as is and just having them. They won't flick around too much on your sets, especially if you use them rather short. For your setup, you talked about wanting your puppets to feel like they were little fairies inside a bigger forest. So I found these are oxalis. They're also known as sorrel. Some of you might think they're clover, but it's actually a native plant. And these are all wired on the back, and so they'll hold pretty nicely and you could paint in them. They also look pretty nice with some light shining through them. They have this printed design on them that doesn't always match up, but you can choose the ones that do the best at that. And then some different fern shapes that you could possibly use, and some wired twigs, which are always great to have. In addition to that, these are some things also left over from a project that have been sorted. It's always nice to have things sorted so that you can quickly pull. Let's say you need a small leaf, or you need a small yellow fern or a fuzzy fern. You can always pick the same thing, and so these are also divided into the bins by size and shape. And then these are kind of fun. They are a type of stone crop, and I thought maybe you guys would want to use that, and you can paint them up in different colors. You know, if you want to go with more naturalistic, or if you want to make sort of your fairyland. And then this is also a nice thing that I've used for making moss or lichen or any of your soft kind of greens. It's a softie, and you can paint into this and stiffen it. It'll be pretty nice for a variety of things, just to fill out underneath some of the harder edged greenery. Some streamer material, and what's nice about this is that it has sort of a natural texture to it, and you can cut this up for leaves or grass. They do make tissue paper that has this texture on it. Another kind of material, of course, is using a faux fur. This has got a low nap to it, but you can see this is from a project where I brushed some stiffener into it, and you can get it to be quite a different texture than you would see straight off the shelf. And another material besides the faux fur that has sort of a nice soft edge to it, and this is great for like miniature grass in the background. And this is a flannel, and Unfortunately, a lot of flannels don't come, they're printed on just one side. I love it when they are double-sided so that you can use them for things that you might make leaves or such things out of. But this, since it's more of a ground cover, you won't have to worry about the back side so much. And again, when you brush your stiffener into this with, say, a toothbrush or any kind of thing, you can sort of directionalize it and give it a naturalistic look. I was able to find, you guys, some small stones, and these are pretty nice that it has a range of colors. And you can use small stones in set dressing. You can use large stones or even sand and even smaller stones than this. You can lock them down with your Elmer's glue, and I'll show you an example, a little ornament that I made. And all of this down here is completely solid and locked on. I just mixed the glue right into the stones and shaped it and let it dry, and that dries matte so it doesn't look like it's wet, and it just looks, it's all locked on there and not going to move around. If you're going to use stones like this in your set dressing, you want to keep in mind that you're not going to be able to drill through them. So if your puppet is going to be walking along a stone path, you need to leave some room for that puppet to be locked down. But you can still kind of fake it with using other things. But these might be nice in little areas just to kind of blend from maybe a dirt into the greenery, and maybe you even want to make like a little wall or other kind of structures out of these. You can build it up and use the Elmer's glue or school glue invisibly. So that is a little overview of some of the materials that you can use besides your basic paper. So just a few things that you already have available to you to build your set with.